Good morning, everyone, and a very warm welcome to all, including our wonderful visitors to CDSCC today. But before I do begin, I would like to take the opportunity to acknowledge the Ngunnawal people as the traditional custodians of the land that we're meeting on and gathering on here today. Excuse me, here in the Tidbinbilla Valley. Some of you may know this, but it's worthy of note for our overseas visitors. But the name Tidbinbilla, it comes from the Ngunnawal word of Jidbinbilla, which means where boys become men, identifying the special relationship of the Ngunnawal men have to the valley and its use with its ceremonies and the passing on of traditional customs. I think this is wonderfully appropriate for the CDSCC team here who've worked here for decades, because each day we pass on our own experiences and our learnings to each other and to the new members of the team that join us each year. I am pleased to welcome our visitors from the Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineers, or better known as the IEEE. Welcome to Kathleen Kramer, the IEEE President from the USA, Lance Fung, the IEEE Regional Director, and Ambarish Natu, I saw you, where are you? Ambarish, hiding behind the hat, who's going to give us an overview of the process that has led to the award that's been bestowed upon DSS 43 today. So welcome to each of you and your colleagues, and also several members I've learned are here as well from the IEEE local branch. We also have representation from the US Embassy, Michael Sullivan, welcome Michael, and from the Australian Space Agency, Arvind, welcome Arvind. Before I hand over to the first speaker, I did want to offer a little synopsis on the IEEE. It's now 140 years old this year, so very well done. That's a long innings, so congratulations on that. It also has a very large membership of approximately, I think the milestone was reached this year, of 450,000 members. Put it into context, that's the population of Canberra, where we all live. So again, very well done on that. That's a huge membership base. And I also believe, and please correct me if I've got this wrong, but the motto of the IEEE is advancing technology for humanity, which I find is rather synonymous with what we have as our own sense of purpose here, working with NASA's DSN, the Deep Space Network, to enable scientific discovery through space exploration for the benefit of humanity. So please welcome me in joining the first speaker for this morning as Lance Fung. Lance.
Good morning all. Thank you so much, Kevin. Good morning, fellow IEEE members, volunteers, leaders, our distinguished guests, well, our friends of IEEE, Student Week, and also the Canberra Bureau. And thank you so much for your support for IEEE over the years as well. My name is Lance Fung. As mentioned, I'm the current Region 10 Director. Region 10 stands for the Asia Pacific region. Well, you heard Kevin mention that IEEE overall, we have around 470,000 members at the last count. And we are being divided into 10 regions all over the world. Region 1 to 6 is in USA. Region 7 is Canada. Region 8 is Europe and Africa. And then Region 9 is South Africa and Central America. And then Region 10 is Asia Pacific. Well, in terms of the figures, actually the last count at the end of February, well, we have edged to around 200,000 members. But although that, well, if you check this year, we dropped a little bit because of the reactivation. We're starting the membership over again. And within, the Region 10, we have 60 sections. And ACT section is one of the 7 sections within Australia. But I must say that, ACT was doing tremendous in terms of the activities and serving the communities. And also in terms of today's events, I thank you so much for everyone. And we in particular, we thank our President-elect, Kathleen, and husband Antonio, taking such a long trip to come over here. But of course, consider what the space station is communicating, they're much more longer, further away as well, isn't it? But nevertheless, it's really wonderful for her to be being with us. Because when we look into the history, this has been, the long time since the first IEEE president visited Canberra in 1983. well, have a discussion with Engineering Australia. We'll talk about collaboration with IEEE and Engineering Australia. So I also like to acknowledge all the work in IEEE, ACT section. Well, for the very successful Region 10 Symposium being held last year in here. And thank you so much for your past section chair, Ambarish Natu, for organizing the event and also running the activities at the conferences. The IEEE Milestone Program recognizes and honors the significant technical achievements which are aligned with the IEEE field of interest. It is a program of the IEEE History Committee administered through the History Center. And Kathleen is going to talk a bit more on that one. Okay, so as of 2nd of February this year, 246 dedications have been made. The first one was being made on the 15th of February. 15th of September 1977 at the Northeastern Western Region 4. And the first Region 10 milestone was being held in September 2019. That's a recognition of the Parkes radio telescopes. And it was being dedicated by our past president, Professor Toshio Fukuda. And this is being the second one in Australia and the first one in ACT, but more to come. I understand that in September, there's another one coming as well. So at this juncture, may I pass the floor to Ambarish. He's going to talk about the process. And then later on, Kathleen is going to talk more about the milestone. Thank you so much. Okay, thank you.
Distinguished guests, IEEE President-elect Kathleen, welcome to Canberra, from our country. Kevin Ferguson, NASA Director of Operations, Region 10 Director Fung, and members of the community and CSIRO and IEEE members. Thank you all for making it today to this event. So I'm going to talk about how we got here in the first place and when this journey of this milestone recognition commenced. It commenced in July 2022 when then Region 10 Director Deepak Mathur and Region 10 Director-elect Fung visited our section, and we had a bit of ceremony orchestrated at the Arboretum back then, and we said, okay, let's have a visit of some of the important places while you're here. So during that visit, we came across the knowledge that DSS 43 was going to complete 50 years in service in April 2023, if I'm not wrong, Glenn. There's a plaque out there somewhere we saw that's probably still there about Balima. That's the original station name it was. I'm trying to remember the exact date. I think it was 73. So that's when we started recognizing, saying it's going to be 50 years next year, and what a fantastic achievement to celebrate. And that's how that process of how do we do it commenced within IEEE, because I had known that IEEE recognizes distinguished service to humanity, and this was a perfect example of the last 50 years of service it was doing. But how do we work out that process to get to this stage? So we have the IEEE History Committee who manages milestones and recognitions. Kathleen talked a bit more on the context as well. But I was lost. I said, where do I start? So I reached out to a few members on the Australia Council, and I'd like to thank Colin Elston, who's here today, New South Wales Chair, and Sasha Nikolik on the Australia Council. I think she was secretary back then in 2022 for guiding me through the process in the initial stages of how does the milestone actually work, what's the application process, and boy, it's not easy. I had to go through seven or eight revisions for that submission process during that time, and in particular I'd like to thank Janina. I forgot how to pronounce her last name. It's a Polish name, so excuse me, but I just mentioned Janina, and who helped us find the advocate, Brian Berg, who has been pivotal in making this submission a success. So over the next 7 months, as we found time, gathered information, evidence of how important this milestone is, and I like to thank Glenn, in providing some of that information, because that was deep hidden in some texts, textbooks, papers, publications. You will see the entire list of citations in that submission if you go to the IEEE milestone webpage. And even after that submission, we went through about 7 to 8 revisions of that proposal under the guidance of Brian Berg, and there were 2 consultants he was talking to as well. I don't know their names, but he never shared with me, but I like to thank them as well. They were quite pivotal in getting that information as accurate as possible. So 7 months later, our submission was to the mark to progress further. So that's when the history committee makes a decision of whether the citation aligns with the achievement of BSS 43. And even then, we had a few goes with Glenn on the citations. We were still not agreeing on the exact words of what the citation should be. we got there in the end. And it wasn't easy, because to summarize an achievement of 50 years in about 50 words or so is not an easy task. It requires skill. It requires the bit of depth of information that will help it describe it more widely to recognize that achievement as well. So thank you, Glenn, for making that possible as well. And almost more than a year into our work, we got our milestone approved by the history committee. But the journey doesn't end there with the history committee. The history committee just makes a recommendation to the IEEE Board of Directors, who actually go and approve that at a following meeting. So that took another 3-4 months when the IEEE directors were about to meet, and about almost after a year, almost 15 months into that journey, we got that approval. Last, I think it was in November, if I'm not wrong, we got the approval from the IEEE Board of Directors, and it still took time till March to have the IEEE President visit and everyone gather here. So it's been a long journey if you look into it. So it recognizes the depth of information required, the effort put in. So 50 years of service doesn't get recognized that easily as well. So I congratulate CSIRO, NASA, JPL for making that journey happen, and I'd like to thank the IEEE History Committee and the IEEE Board of Directors for recognizing this milestone event. And quickly, as Lance mentioned, I'll briefly talk about the upcoming milestone. It's not a milestone, there's a different term to it. It's a special citation for the Commonwealth Solar Observatory that most of you passed through at the Mount Stromlo on the way in. That will be happening on the 3rd of September, when current IEEE President Coughlin will be attending that as well. So that's from me. Thank you very much, and I'd like to invite 2024 IEEE President-elect Kathleen Kramer.
Hello everyone. Thank you for welcoming me to today's celebration. I'd especially like to thank Kevin Ferguson and Glenn Nagel, who's deserving a great deal of thanks, for hosting us today as we recognize and commend the tremendous achievements of Deep Space Station 43 over its 50-plus years of space communications and the support provided for the continued exploration of our solar system and beyond. As Australia's largest antenna DSS-43 has provided two-way communication with dozens of robotic spacecraft, from the Apollo program and NASA's Mars exploration rovers, such as Spirit and Opportunity, to the Voyager's grand tour of the solar system. In fact, it is the only antenna remaining on Earth capable of communicating with Voyager 2. I'm honored to be part of this IEEE milestone celebration, and all of these celebrations are joyful to me. We have the opportunity not only to celebrate, but to observe and preserve the groundbreaking technical research and developments and the women and men behind these technical developments. They have shaped the trajectory of technology, our communities, and our institutions. Today's dedication recognizes the worldwide significance of the work manifested here, very much the result of vital technical contributions and collaborations here in Australia, most especially in this section, and my sincerest applause and congratulations to all of you who have collaborated to make this recognition possible. Milestones help communities around the world understand how engineers, scientists, and technologists contribute to our global society and to building today's technologically advanced world. Our professions have a long, rich, and important history, and it is essential that our pioneering technological developments and discoveries and the people behind them are recognized and celebrated for generations to come. As the largest technological association in the world, it is an important part of IEEE's mission to preserve the legacy and heritage of our professions, to recognize great achievements, and to promote the importance and impact of engineering. IEEE's legacy is a story of innovation and collaboration. We are celebrating our 140th anniversary this year. Our founders came together in 1884 in a spirit of cooperation to support the public with technological improvements. And since then, we've been fostering technological advancement for the benefit of humanity. Since our inception, we've had a standing history committee. It advises the board of directors on matters of legacy and heritage of IEEE, our members, and our related professions and technologies. The mission of the History Center that works with the History Committee is to provide a focus for this aspect of our global mission, to preserve, research, and promote the history of information and electrical technologies. The center maintains many useful resources for engineers and students, historians of technology, and those interested in the development of electrical and computer engineering and its role in our modern society. Besides our focus today, I strongly encourage you to experience and contribute to yourselves the IEEE Oral History Program, which is a peer-to-peer interviewing program that has collected the spoken memories and personal commentaries of historical significance through recorded interviews of 700 of the leading engineers and technologists. The IEEE Milestone program honors significant technical achievements in all areas associated with IEEE. The Milestone program is funded, by the way, by donations to the IEEE Foundation, the philanthropic partner of IEEE that leverages the generosity of donors interested in supporting our mission activities such as today's milestone, to support and enable IEEE efforts to enhance technology access, literacy, and education, and support the entire IEEE professional community. The IEEE Milestone program recognizes great moments throughout our world's long history of technical innovation. Milestones help to increase the public's understanding of the contributions to society made by electrical, electronics, and computer engineers, and the strides made by countless scientists and technologists to improve the way that people communicate, work, travel, stay healthy, and enjoy living. To date, before today, 247 IEEE milestones have been dedicated around the world. Today is only the second for Australia. The first that's been mentioned today was for the IEEE New South Wales section in 2019, recognizing the Parkes Radio Telescope's contribution to one of humankind's greatest technical achievements, the first moon landing. Thanks to Parkes Radio Telescope, 600 million people, or 1/5 of the world's population, believe that they are responsible for watching Neil Armstrong's first steps on the moon. I've been corrected today. That's an apocryphal story that should be recognized perhaps also here. The televised images from here were superior to other ground stations and NASA used them for much of the broadcast. One of the first to use the newly developed corrugated feed horn, Parkes became a model for the Deep Space Network large aperture antennas. Its spectacular performance provided a great opportunity. At this time, I'm pleased to move to today's official milestone plaque presentation for Deep Space Station 43, 1972 to 1987. I will read the plaque citation. First operational in 1972 and later upgraded in 1987, Deep Space Station 43, or DSS-43, is a steerable parabolic antenna that supported Apollo 17 lunar mission, Viking Mars landers, Pioneer and Mariner planetary probes, and Voyager's encounters with Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Planning for many robotic and human missions to explore the solar system and beyond has included DSS-43 for critical communications and tracking in NASA's Deep Space Network. And so I will ask Kevin, could you come up? So I will just finish up by saying that I would like once again to thank everyone for joining us for this very special milestone ceremony, and to share my sincere gratitude to Ambarish Natu and all the leaders and contributors of the IEEE Australian Capital Territory section for organizing today's event. I applaud your efforts to celebrate and safeguard the contributions to society made by electrical, electronics, and computer engineers and computer scientists, and strides made by countless technologists as they seek to advance technology for the benefit of humanity. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathleen. Thank you, Ambarish, and thank you, Lance. I just there's something that just popped up in those wonderful, kind words that would have resonated across the site, and I'm sure the staff will understand what I'm about to say. Many of us may not have known about Parkes being the first recipient of this in Australia, but you may not know that we have a wonderfully and very healthy competition with Parkes. So you did very well, thank you. So for us to now be on that same podium with them really gives some more excitement for the years ahead with Parkes. So thank you very much for that. Some wonderful, kind words that you shared there. I did actually, to be second in Australia, no one likes to be second, but to be the first in the ACT, I mean, let's be honest, that's a fantastic achievement. So welcome to everybody who's involved with this. It sounds like a short period of time, 2 years, but the effort that you've just conveyed, that you've expended in this with Glenn as well, I really want to hand out some strong appreciations to Ambarish and also Glenn for making this. I can just imagine the reiteration of the submission over and over. We all have to deal with it. So I feel your pain, but I'm sharing the success with you today. So thank you very much for that. Again, thank you to the IEEE committee and the board of directors, but that doesn't happen without the effort on the ground. So thank you very much for that. And I want to shout out, Glenn, all this again, it doesn't happen without your support. So thank you very much for doing that. And it'll be interesting to see, yes, well done. But it will be interesting to see the Commonwealth Solar Observatory be looked at as well in September. So thank you for looking at that. Look, I think it's been a wonderful event today. This is fantastic. Great achievement, great recognition. Thank you for turning up today for our own colleagues as well. I know it's busy days. We're always busy, so this is wonderful to do so. But thank you for your attendance. Thank you for your kind words, and thank you very much for the recognition for DSS 43. There's many more years ahead in the old lady yet. So thank you, everyone. Thank you.